This is Ricky, and he is having an Antiox peel. This is a peel that's in my book. It's considered a progressive peel, but it's more of a healing treatment. And right now I'm cleansing his skin with the glycolic herbal wash. This is a good treatment for a skin that's oily, acne prone, congested, impure skin that's a little toxic, a thicker skin that produces just more oil. And it can be used in all ranges of skin tones from Fitzpatrick 1 to Fitzpatrick 6. So I've cleansed his skin with a glycolic herbal wash, and now I'm going to rinse him really well and then do a pretty aggressive granular scrub with the pumice wash. You want to make sure you get all of this glycolic cleanser off the skin before you go into your next step of prepping. Now, Rick has just shaved, and so you want to take that into consideration when you're working with the guys, because that's always going to make the skin a little more sensitive. And so just be watching that, checking the skin. And he's lathered up pretty good. I put a really good amount of this cleanser on him. The pumice wash is a really aggressive granular scrub. That's good. Now, Rick's home care has been the beta green tea line. He uses a lot of the beta green tea as antibacterial, antimicrobial support. It's helped his skin quite a bit. We've had him on some of the lighteners as well, which his pigmentation has evened out quite a bit. He did have some areas that were a lot more hyperpigmented than they are now. And we didn't have him do any special pre-treating for this treatment. He just did his normal daily cleanse and applications. And you would take that into consideration if you were working with a skin that had done maybe some aggressive home care prior to the procedure. So you roll this granular scrub around the skin, and not working it in extra hard to over scrub, but just kind of gently rolling it around to let those antibacterial products or ingredients work. Let these grains lift and roll over the skin to break down keratin. Does that feel okay? When you are working with skin of color, you want to be aware of and cautious that you do not overstimulate, and that you're always taking into consideration the melanin factor. It's not that black skin has more melanocytes, they're just larger and more to the surface, and so that's why the melanin or pigment is darker. There's actually 2,000 melanocytes per millimeter of skin for people in general, all skin tones. But it's the stimulation that can surface those melanocytes or the melanin itself and cause the skin to hyperpigment. And it's if the skin gets overworked, damaged in some way, or there's some type of trauma, you will actually destroy those melanocytes, and they don't reproduce very well. And so then you end up with hypopigmentation, which is an absence of melanin and there's no color. So after you've kind of brushed and worked away as much of these grains as you can dry, then we're going to wet our gauze and remove the remainder. Feels good to lay the pads gently on the eyes for a moment. This is just tepid water. See, I'm still picking up some of the cleanser itself, not just the grains, and I want to make sure I get all that out of the pores before I move on. And again, such a great reason to use your white gauze pads, because you can see everything that's on the skin and what you're taking off, what you're putting in. Now we're going into the third phase of our prep for Rick to get his skin ready for the acid, and that's using the fruit acid botanical. This is a great mixture for so many skin types and skin conditions, and certainly beneficial for his skin. It will help to reduce the lipids and the oils. It's got a very good antibacterial support for this area along the jawline and cheek area and chin where he's got some breakouts and congestion. We've saturated a gauze with this. And Rick, let me know, I'm not going to hand you the fan yet, but if you need it, I can. Some people feel a real heat sensation with this, so if you need it, just let me know. Especially where you've shaved, start to get hot. But this stays on the skin, you let it absorb in. Kind of dissipates on its own and goes right into the skin tissue. And with the glycolic, the salicylic in it, it not only helps to lift the oils, but gives some good healing support to his skin. This, the 20% lactic or the 15% glycolic, are all very good applications for those initial pre-peel, pre-prep steps. It's just enough to soften, just enough to loosen some of those cells. It can actually be used as a second or final phase of cleansing, really, because it just removes any loosened keratin cells. You may begin to really feel this, Rick. It seeps in, especially some of these places that are a little open. Go all the way back into the hairline with this and around to the earlobes so that you get the whole area really thoroughly. And you can go back with your fingertips. You want to be sure you have your gloves on through this treatment. And work this into the skin a little bit. He can feel it now. Let's give him the fan. I think it'd be nice for him to have a hold of that for a few minutes. Go ahead and raise this hand up. I'm going to put this in for you. There, and then you can position it how you need to. Ready to take this off. We're going to rinse the 25% AHA gel, look at his skin and decide if we need to change anything before we go on to our next peel application. And you have to watch when you're working with the higher Fitzpatrick skins. I think some people think because the skin is darker that it's just really tough and strong and it can handle everything, but that's not the case. Their skins can be sensitive, they can burn. I've seen black skin with sunburns, and so they can have some real sensitivity to some of these acids and be very aware of that. It's just a different appearance on the skin than you might see on Caucasian skin. Is the fan helping? Mm-hmm. Feeling better now that I've rinsed you? Melanin suppressant, I use that a lot. It's in a tomato leaf extract base with the kojic acid, azelaic acid, certainly for Ricky skin, any skin of color, Asian, Hispanic, African American, Indian skin, olive skins. You always want to use the melanin suppressant. It's just going to have to give you a little extra edge, a little buffering to keep that melanin down, help to lighten the skin some. And because this is in a tomato leaf extract base, it has some very good antibacterial properties to it, because tomato contains a lot of naturally occurring acids, many of which are very antibacterial, as well as having some lycopene naturally to give the skin some antioxidant support. This will probably feel a little stimulating. The tomato enzyme, which is our real key focus for this treatment, we've done a lot to prepare the skin, the cleansing, the alpha hydroxy, using our scrub, and now we have the melanin suppressant on there to give some added support for the lightening. But the tomato enzyme is our real key peel here, and this is extremely antibacterial. It has a lot of heat sensation to it, so skins will usually feel a good little burn initially when it's on the skin. We have a couple of options with this, and I like to sometimes, when I'm dealing with skin of color and using this, to add a little melanin suppressant. I know it doesn't say that in your protocol, but you can do that, and I think I'd like to add a dropper of melanin to this. And we've got it on the skin, but just another little dropper. And besides this being tomato extract in your melanin suppressant, and this is a tomato enzyme, it's a very good combination. So we'll stir that in. This is a great procedure for so many of your acne oily clients as part of a program. You may vary it up from time to time, but this is certainly one you would want to give a try, especially if they're having some stubborn acne conditions that just aren't responding. We call it the Antiox because there's so many components to this, and then the final application of the green tea mask that have antioxidant benefits as well as detoxifying benefits for the skin. Now sometimes this mixture in the tomato enzyme can get a little thick, and when that happens, just add a little bit of liquid to that. It can even be just a drop or two of water, but I usually will either put a little melanin suppressant like we did today, which certainly made it much thinner. Sometimes I'll put a drop or two of 20% lactic. You can actually add a few different liquid ingredients to this if you need it. However, my suggestion when you're using any of these topicals, and in this case the tomato enzyme, before you start mixing and adding anything to it to boost it, use it straight first on your skins and see what the potential of that is, so you know what to expect, what can happen. And that is real important when you're working with any of these mixtures, that you always make sure you understand and know what's going to happen with the mixture, and you've got complete control and confidence on the procedure. How you doing, Rick? You doing pretty good? He's getting a little pink. He's real stimulated. Not over so, but he's pink. And like I said, this is a healing peel. Very, very healing. And the peeling, we put this in the progressive category, but it can be enough to be considered almost mid-depth. It'll be more like a brisk flaking that will occur. Very mild, usually. Okay, Ricky's been in his tomato enzyme peel for about 10 minutes, and so what we're going to do is wrap his face in a cool compress, because he's felt a lot of heat sensation from this, and we want to wrap it in that to kind of cool him down and then to remove the enzyme. This also helps to kind of soften up the enzyme a little bit. Feels good. And then you can use your towel a little bit for removal. It makes it a little easier sometimes than the gauze pads. And this is also a mixture that you have to make sure you have everything removed thoroughly, and sometimes when you look at the skin you think you have it off, and then there's still some residue of the mask left on the skin. I don't know if this is showing up well on the camera, but if we could zoom in here and look at this area. These areas that look, very wide are areas that he's frosted. And those are all the areas where the lesions are. And that just means that those are going to really lift and exfoliate very well as get some good healing. And so if you see that, don't be alarmed. That's normal. The skin can frost from this mixture. This is a potent little enzyme. That's why I call it tomato enzyme peel. It's not a mild baby enzyme by any means, and so it does have the ability to frost a skin. And for him, this is just really good where it has done that and lifted. Do you have any place, Rick, where your skin feels more sensitive than somewhere else? Your upper lip? Okay. Let's give you a little bit of a rinse there. Don't under-remove these mixtures. Make sure you really work to get them all off the skin. Now, as an antibacterial treatment, Antiox treatment for detoxification, we're going to finish his skin with the green tea mask, which is a very stimulating, healing mask with very potent antioxidant and antibacterial properties. And so I want his skin to be a little drier. I'll blot it dry a little bit, and then I'll be applying the mask. And this has got the wasabi in it, and so it really can be pretty stimulating. The skin will sometimes get a little heat sensation, and that's actually a good thing, because when you get a certain amount of stimulation, what happens? You increase circulation and the blood comes to the surface, and all of the healing components in our body is from our blood. That's where all the oxygen is, all the nutrients, valuable vitamins, and good healthy support for us, for our skin. And so that will just really be an added benefit for him. And his skin is really looking very nice. I can see a lot of clarity, a lot more smoothing, and already he's got some good potential healing going on. The green tea mask has already been scooped into the beaker. Use maybe like about a tablespoonful. And we're just going to paint this on. And because of the stimulation and what you've had done, if you need the fan, just let me know. A lot of people don't need that at the end of some treatments, but on a treatment like this that Rick's just had, he may feel a little more heat and want that. Whoa, he feels it. Let's give him the fan. This becomes a lifeline for some people. Here, take the fan. And some of these treatments that you do like this with different stages and steps, and you don't know how they're going to feel, just let them have the fan throughout the whole treatment. That way they can just hold it and pull it away when they want to. Usually when it does get hot, gets stimulating, it's just momentary. It doesn't last a long time. There's the occasional skin that it stays hot for too long, or they just can't even use it, but most skins can tolerate this for about it's on for 10 minutes, and it doesn't burn the full 10 minutes. Let me know with you, Rick, when you're starting to feel it subside. Like on your forehead where I put it first, does it still feel as hot to you? It's gone? Okay. But I do want to remind you that this is a potent little mask. This is not, it's very active. And so always remember that. If you see the word mask and the word enzyme and you're thinking of more of your cosmetic topicals, these really go beyond that. They're much more active. And so just be aware when you're using them on your clients to always see how they're feeling and paying attention to the skin. If you need to cut this mask at all, which sometimes I do, I want the benefits of the green tea, I want the antibacterial support, but I like to bring it down, buffer it down a little. I'll mix it with the milk mask. The milk mask is a pure milk protein mask that makes for a very good mixing mask with some of the more potent mixtures. Okay, now we're going to roll the ice globes over his face, and this should feel real good to him. A great thing to do after this kind of peel. It really helps to calm the skin. It helps to reduce inflammation and swelling in the tissue. Increases circulation. If I had done extractions on him, which you would want to do, and very carefully for his skin, but he would benefit from that. It's always nice to do your ice globes after. And you can do this for really as long as you want. You can do it, the mask is on for 10 minutes, and you can roll these globes over the face for 3 to 5 minutes. Actually, your client likes you to do it as long as the mask is on. It feels really good, and they're just happy to have you continue doing it through the whole process. And because of what Rick's skin has experienced, we will go ahead and continue to roll the globes on until we're ready to take the mask off. Okay, our time is up for this. This has been on his skin for 10 minutes. I'm going to let him continue to hold the fan just in case he still feels a little bit of heat sensation and warmth. And I used the same gauze that I had laid on his face. And then I'll still need to get some fresh ones, but it always helps to get the bulk of this removed with those gauze. Now we've turned the oxygen on because we do want to spray his skin down with the vitamins and the oxygen. Just promotes more healing, helps with those lesions, feels good, very soothing. The skin looks really very nice to me. I can see a nice improvement, and I expect him to get a lot of flaking and even some surfacing of the debris in the skin. The breakouts and the lesions are going to probably surface, and he's going to probably experience a little bit more of that than he has right now, but that's a good thing because as it lifts up those bacterial areas and they heal, which is usually very quickly, they'll usually abate within maybe 2 to 3 days, he's going to find that his skin is going to be less prone to breaking out. So I'm spraying him down with a mixture of vitamins in the nebulizer and pure oxygen. His skin looks really nice. I hope it comes through on camera as well as what I'm seeing right here. I see a lot more clarity to the skin. The integrity of the skin is much better. You know, it's certainly much smoother and more refined. And now we just need to get, you know, some more healing and lightening through this area for him. It's nice to bathe the skin in the oxygen for at least 5 minutes if you have this. Now, if you don't have the oxygen, I would just suggest that you finish the skin with some good antioxidants, like the antioxidant complex serum, an epidermal growth factor for cell renewal, wound repair, and then we will be putting the zinc protection cream on him, and that would be what I would suggest you use on a skin like his. And then I'm going to turn off my nebulizer so I only have oxygen coming through. Pass it under his nose so he can breathe in some of that fresh oxygen. And then just use it kind of all over to drive in those nutrients. Now I'm going to put just a little bit of the zinc protection cream on. And this is for protection, support when he leaves, but it's also going to help continue with the healing of his skin because of the amount of zinc. There's 20% zinc in this, and that's really good for a skin that's prone to acne or bacteria impurities. Although it's not limited to that type of skin, because I use it on myself every day, and I really find that it's extremely beneficial for the health of my skin. Okay, we've completed Rick's treatment. We finished him with the green tea mask, removed that. I sprayed him down with the oxygen and applied the zinc protection cream. So he has had our Antiox Progressive Peel, and that can be repeated in about 2 weeks. And we'll have Rick sit up in a minute. He'll have a drink of water and be on his way.
The education and support is 100% top notch. I mean, it's been really good for our business. It's been good for me. I know when I started back, you know, even as a beginning esthetician, I think a lot of times they're afraid of the peels and going a little bit more progressive. But, you know, really, had I not, people just plateau so much that it was just something I had to do. You know I started off with just, like I said, the facials, and then I started doing just maybe the glycolics and the lactic. I mean, it was a line upon line, precept upon precept, even in skincare. And so, you know, when you start off, I guess, you have to begin. And as I began, it's probably for the first year, I only really dabbled in with the maybe mildly progressive peels. And then I went to the Dallas, it was a Dallas trade show, it would be about 12 years ago, you know, and had experienced my first peel and then oxygen therapy. So I would have to say that those two elements, the peels and the oxygen therapy, are something I could not do without. I mean, I love my microdermabrasion, I love the lamb probe, but I have had the foundation of good peels and oxygen therapy for 12 years. I don't know, I think it's about 2 years ago, actually it's getting close to 3 years ago, that I just took the plunge to get the cleansers, and I think I just went ahead and went broad scale into the line with all the cleansers and the growth factors and the scrubs, and it just really has transformed the type of skincare that we're offering. It was the best decision and faith decision that I'd made for our business. You know, even though it was carrying 2 lines and it was between me and another esthetician, we just crank it out. You know, it's fun for people to switch up. They don't want to be stuck, and I think that's the thing is with Rhonda Allison products. You know, we usually keep them changed up every 3 to 4 months on their cleansers or on their topical solutions, and people, when they come back in, if they're out of something, they look forward to what you're going to put them on, because there's such a broad selection. And I think the one thing that keeps us the most motivated is that y'all are always bringing out new products. I mean, there's always something, you know, oh, well, what are you working on, you know, because, and even in the peels, so for the treatment room, there's just not a dry time.